In 1959, Joseph Carter stepped into the marble halls of power armed with ambition and a finance degree. But Wall Street wasn't ready for a black man with a dream. Locked out by prejudice, Joseph started where no one else would, at home with faith, hope, and pocket change. Reinvesting in his community, Joseph turned exclusion into empowerment. His vision transformed lives. By the 1980s, he ran a billion-dollar empire, proof that courage and conviction can break any barrier. They locked me out of their boardrooms, so I built one where everyone had a seat. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're from and if this story speaks to you. Make sure you're subscribed because we have many more deeply inspiring stories to share with you.
In the heart of New York City, 1959, where gleaming towers of glass and steel announced the power of American finance, a man named Joseph Carter walked through the doors of Wall Street. He was young, sharp, a graduate with a finance degree, and like so many others of his generation, filled with ambition. But unlike his peers, Joseph carried a burden that business credentials alone could not erase. He was a black man in an industry that drew invisible borders around race, wealth, and trust. Inside the marble halls of power, his dream was simple yet revolutionary: to start his own investment firm. He came prepared, carrying crisp business plans and a vision for serving not just individuals, but entire communities. Yet when he laid his papers on the table, what he received was laughter, mockery, and dismissal. The banker's words were cruel, but they reflected the prejudice of an era: a colored man running money. Clients would never trust you. Joseph walked out of those meetings with rejection ringing in his ears. He did not receive loans, he did not secure partnerships, and he was told again and again that the financial world had no place for him. But if Wall Street shut him out, Joseph decided, he would build his own. He started with what little he had. Pooling his personal savings with the contributions of trusted friends, his church congregation, and neighbors, Joseph began investing quietly, carefully, and strategically. His eye was on undervalued properties in Harlem and businesses in black neighborhoods that others dismissed as too risky. These businesses, barbershops, small groceries, laundries, were not glamorous, but they were the lifeblood of communities. And Joseph understood something Wall Street refused to see: trust was its own kind of capital. His community trusted him just as he trusted them. Within a few years, the results began to speak louder than the prejudice. Tenants saw their homes renovated, businesses saw profits grow, and families received steady returns on the money they had entrusted to him. Word spread quickly through the community. Joseph Carter knew how to grow wealth. By the late 1960s, while America's streets erupted with civil rights marches and calls for equality grew louder, Joseph was building quiet revolutions of his own. His firm had now expanded beyond Harlem. Families from across the city brought him their savings. Professionals, small business owners, even churches funneled their capital toward his management, guided by trust and a record of success. Against every obstacle that had been placed in his way, Joseph had built what few thought possible: a legitimate, black-owned investment firm managing millions of dollars. His strategy was deliberate. While Wall Street obsessed over speculation and risk, Joseph championed stability and patience. Real estate, local businesses, carefully chosen equities, his investments reflected more than finance. They reflected a vision of empowerment. By the 1980s, America looked very different from the world Joseph had stepped into as a young man. Yet through 2 turbulent decades, his firm not only survived, it thrived. He now managed billions. His clients were no longer confined to New York or even to black communities. From coast to coast, professionals, institutions, and families entrusted him with their wealth. Reporters eventually came calling. They wanted to know, how did a man once mocked and excluded build an empire? Joseph's reply was simple, profound, and unforgettable. He said, "They locked me out of their boardrooms. So I built one where everyone had a seat." This was not just about money. It was about proving that opportunity denied could become opportunity created. His firm stood as a symbol that financial power did not have to flow through Wall Street's gatekeepers, that trust, discipline, and vision could build something enduring even in the face of prejudice. Joseph Carter's story is a chapter oft and overlooked in the story of American finance, but it is a story worth remembering. It is a story of resilience, of community, and a vision of a man who turned rejection into revolution and exclusion into empire. His life reminds us that in the world of finance, as in life, wealth is not only in numbers, it is in the power to create opportunity not just for oneself, but for others. And in that sense, Joseph Carter did much more than build a billion-dollar firm. He built a legacy.